Where are you from?
Lebanese.
Lebanese?
Yeah.
How long have you been in the States?
Since 1980.
1980. That's when I was born.
I played soccer. I came here on a soccer scholarship.
Oh, awesome. My wife is Argentinian, so I've been immersed in soccer culture.
Here you go. Yeah, we call it football. But
Football. So correct. Football culture. Jacob Harkins here. We are in. Are we technically in Bloomfield Hills?
We are in Bloomfield
Hills.
Yes.
I'm here with Nidal Daher, who is the owner of Unique Wine Cellars, an awesome custom wine cellar building company that works in this area, right, about half hour outside of Detroit. Thank you for taking some time to meet.
My pleasure.
We are at Eddie Merlot's, which is, as you can see, we picked this place for a reason, as a beautiful display. And one of the unique things about Nidal, and the reason I'm really excited to talk to him, is he builds wine cellars, right? We talk to wine cellar builders all the time. But he also has a background in wine, and he works with his consultants, or restaurants, as a consultant as well. So you get to do, you build the cellar and then you fill it up.
We can work with them and work with them on wine list, writing wine list, staff training, also with private clients on inventories, also helping him with buying strategies.
Yeah.
So I'm a certified sommelier, so that's my background.
Yeah.
It's in the wine business, so it's all kind of feeds into it. So it's a full-time stuff for us. I mean, it's full service. Customers, we retain those customers throughout, just not building one cellar and walking away.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, you build it and fill it up. It's so cool.
Even a relationship with the restaurant here. We still do events with them, and we maintain that relationship with them.
So when you are, if someone was opening a restaurant today, this is a two-part question. What advice would you give them on the restaurant design, especially as it pertains to the wine cellar?
Okay. Most of them, they have an architect or an interior designer, like some of the restaurants we work with. However, they come to us early on because the main part is designing the cooling unit that's going to fit within that always limited space, small space as you see. So we work on that technical aspect of fitting which cooling unit would work, and when obviously using a glass, you're going to have a bigger cooling unit for that. So we work with them on that. Then we also work on the design. And oftentimes they come to us with a design already. They had in mind. And oftentimes we tell them there's certain things would not work.
Right.
So that's when we end up spending the time. We use our expertise to modify that design and make it work for the concept they're looking for.
So a little bit is, come to your wine cellar expert with an idea of what you want, but understand that things might have to change.
Exactly.
Because this space, when you put glass around it and how it interacts with the outside and all that stuff is going to create not problems, but hurdles to overcome.
Right, and you need to kind of adjust to make sure it's going to work, because after all, it's not just about the looks. There's a functionality for that wine cellar that has to work as well. And this is what sometimes we find a problem is working with architects and interior designer. They're about the visual, but also we come in fighting our way about the functional, because the cellar has a function, and that has to work in addition to the visual. So we always have to find a compromise.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. We visited a wine cellar of our stuff in Florida a year ago. 20-foot beautiful wine cellar with a crickety old lift to get to the top. And we watched the servers try and get to their bottles at the top, and it was just like a 10-minute process. They didn't think through every aspect of it. Looked beautiful. Functionality wasn't ideal for a busy restaurant. So the other aspect of it, you basically have to just be a little bit flexible, understand what you want and all that stuff for the looks of it. Now when you actually say, well, we've got this beautiful wine cellar, what do we put in it? How do you consult on that piece? Like what are tips you can give a restaurant?
Oftentimes, if I am working with the restaurant and building the wine list, they'll come to us and we'll help them build a wine list that would be suitable to the menu with the chef, and also what the goal of the wine list. Most wine lists these days, you don't see this thick book of multiple wines, because wine list needs to evolve and change and become refreshed every 6 months now.
Every 6 months?
You can't just sit on a wine list because vintages do change. Distributors sometimes will run out of something that you need to modify. Season change. You serve a lot of rosés during the warmer season, less rosés during the regular season. So you have to constantly change the menu. You can't just sit on a menu for a year or longer. The maximum, I would say, 1 year.
Gotcha.
But that's too much. Restaurants now, every 6 months, they change the menu.
So that becomes an important part of your business offering, because that's a lot to think about if you're a busy restaurant.
My business is twofold.
Yeah.
It's the consulting and the sales part. The sales part has to do with design and wine cellars, and the consulting part. And those both feed into each other, because me being out there, I can talk about what I also offer.
Of course.
Both.
Well, and so you talk about those, some wine lists are voluminous, some are small and concise. I always see, like, at nice restaurants, you'll see like one bottle or two bottles that's like, they're like $5,000, right? So how often do those ever get sold?
Well, speaking of which, we're talking about a tasting. So they do have on our menu a bottle of Harlan that they sell for $2,000.
Okay.
And believe it or not, they have a customer. They ran out and they bought 6 bottles, and they bought them, and they're gonna buy more. In fact, we're working with them on a tasting in August to pick top of their 10 buying clients, because they have lockers here.
Yeah.
And basically, the tasting's gonna be 500 and above bottles of wine.
How do I get an invite to that tasting?
Well, you have to be able to afford to drop $10,000 in purchase to get an invite. Basically, they're handpicking their customers that would be able to purchase that much wine.
Yeah.
And
So will you vouch for me?
We'll try purchase, because basically what happens is those clients will come in, they'll taste the wine, there'll be samples of those wines, and then they'll purchase based on what they tasted. And so they do move, especially steakhouses. You'll be surprised. There are a lot of wines. People wouldn't mind coming in here at a steakhouse and buying a $2,000-$3,000 bottle of wine.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It doesn't just happen in Vegas. There's
doesn't just
everywhere.
It happens in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan.
Yes, absolutely. And this is one of the top 10 wealthiest community in the nation.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is a well-known, wealthy area as well.
All right, so let's go. Last question to wrap up. Let's go to the other side of things. It's a Tuesday night. You're at home. A pizza's coming your way from delivery or whatever. What wine are you going to?
Good questions. There's a lot of good go-to wine. I usually pick a nice Sangiovese that it's about $10 a bottle. There's plenty. There's one called Donna Laura Ali. It's 100% Sangiovese, and it's my go-to wine. It delivers a lot to the money.
That makes me thirsty, because this is too early in the morning for us to be cracking open wine, so we didn't get to wet our palate, so to speak. But that'll get me thinking about what I want to order next Tuesday night, and get me an invite to that tasting.
Absolutely, we'll try. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. We will see you soon. Cheers.
Thank you.
Easy.
That was easy.
Yeah, like a problem.